Yo, what is up guys, it's your boy Shieldcoomer here, and today we're gonna be covering amazing key called Court of Stars. I say amazing key, kind of ironically. I really do enjoy this key though. I think it's a very good thematic key, very beautiful, really like the overall design and stuff, but yeah, I'll get to that some other time. I want you guys to take a look at my talents here. As I said, I will publish a video about the talents. We're playing, instead of remove snare effect with fade, we're playing a quicker mass dispel. That's one change that's worth noting. Everything else is like a standard AoE build, as we talked about in the previous video. And I will publish a full-on guide for the talents and stuff sometime soon TM. It's incoming. It's a lot of work because I want to give correct information, so I gotta do my research properly, and I gotta tell you guys, test out a little bit more things and stuff. I don't want to speed run releasing a video without actually having all the information available. Either way,
Fortification.
Pretty chill key, guys. You will see this is a pretty full-on blaster group. We actually blasted this key, even though there was some disaster moments, but overall I was fully focused on dealing damage for the most part. That's kind of at the moment. Like I always say this, like if you're playing Discipline Priest, I mean the main advantage of having disc in your group is actually the ability to deal damage, especially now we are actually pretty high up in the damage department with this Mindbender build where you spam your Schism into, some penances, purge the wicked, make sure you're rotating dark and light spells, as I've talked about, or rather I'll call them shadow and holy, since that's the proper terminology. As your light fillers, holy fillers, use Purge the Wicked as much as you can. Use Penance, use Divine Star, and use Smite. As your dark spells, you want to be using your Mind Blasts twice. Then you want to use your Shadow Word that. And then you should probably use Shadow Covenant if you run out of dark spells, and pop a Penance. Then you'll have another Mind Blast back, and then you want to use Dark Divine Star. And that's basically your kind of rotation. As I said, fillers in between should be Purge the Wicked for the most part. You can do Smite, but I find that Smite kind of ruins the flow of it. It takes a little bit too long to cast normally. And you want to make sure you can get off as many mind blasts and Shadow Word deaths as you can while the Mind Bender is active, so you get the full value on the AoE. That's what we'll be doing for the most part. Obviously, I don't execute perfectly in this dungeon. It's kind of hard to press your buttons perfectly for 30 minutes on a new spec. And here we actually had a ninja pull, by the way, from the DH. These packs overall are pretty chill. As long as, I've had disaster groups in this key as well, so I want to say this as a healer, honestly, there's not really that much you can do for the most part on higher keys. The mana sabers thingies, they will just kind of one-shot people if they're standing stupidly and if they're not using defensives. What you can do, you can use your barrier, you can use your rupture to kind of preemptively block that damage, and if you can manage to predict the jumps. It is random though, as far as I know, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but they jump randomly and pick a target and then they just slam you. Just don't stay stacked so not everybody gets dotted, but even if they do, you have a mass dispel, but obviously it's better if you don't get hit on multiple people, because that's just pure mathematics, right? If you can avoid getting hit on 2 people, you should. Keep tank alive, dodge frontals, don't ninja pull like we did earlier. That's about it. Dispel things. You can also purge fortification if it happens.
Empowered.
And yeah, just blast. Just blast away.
Quelling strike.
I do want to say also that here you don't forget to use your fear. I mean, as Discipline Priests, we don't bring that much CC into these dungeons, so it's really useful if you get a few fears off, throughout the dungeon. At least help your people, help your teammates. I mean, teammates are people at the end of the day. Debatable. Honestly debatable, but for the most part they are people, and you should help them CC. I'm joking, of course. Filthy animals. But yeah, you wanna be kind of sharp with your CCs, because you don't have much. So utilize fear when, for example, on imps. I hope I will be using it in this dungeon. Although honestly, these guys had everything covered. Honestly, I just showed up here and I looked pretty. I did good DPS though. I did good DPS, but these guys have it covered. They do it pretty well. As I say, that Hunter dies, of course, it's always the Hunter.
Charged smash.
But
Fortification.
pretty blaster group overall. They did the damage.
Quelling
The mechanics
strike.
properly. Tank knew what he's doing as well. Especially for a druid, you know. Pretty sage state of tanking at the moment for them, but he was completely fine. It was not
Fortification.
he felt like he was in danger or anything, so it was overall
Quelling
pretty enjoyable
strike.
dungeon to play. Also my first plus 20, since somehow I'm never getting invited into Shadow Moon Burial Grounds, so thanks for that, I guess. Serves me right for being a priest. Yeah, here they did like a pack with a boss. Honestly, pretty smart. Here I almost got hit by the frontal, but yeah, you know, that was kind of tricky. So yeah, I'm not sure how recommended this pull is. It looks good to me,
Resonance
to be
slash.
honest, but you do have to be careful with those frontals.
Street sweeper.
But yeah, we just kind of deleted them honestly.
Fortification.
Even
Resonance
as a
slash.
healer gets to do damage in this key and stuff, and that's always fun. You know, that's what this is all about.
Street sweeper.
You get to actually cast your spells and utilize that
Arcane
mind bender
lockdown.
AoE. You can
Quelling
do amazing
strike.
things.
Street
And I
sweeper.
want to say here, like, you can always pre-cast Mass Dispel. It's a
Resonance
little bit
slash.
tricky now because it's really fast, so I'm not sure how recommended that
Street
is.
sweeper.
But you can try it out for yourself if you feel confident enough. The reason I
Street
kind of stopped
sweeper.
doing it is because one time
Resonance slash.
I missed it. I just cast it too
Street
fast
sweeper.
before the spell even hit, and then everybody was left with you know, the
Arcane
debuff. And
lockdown.
honestly, the
Street
debuff
sweeper.
hurts on higher keys. Like this is Fortified, and debuff hurts quite a bit.
Resonance slash.
So you know, this isn't, you know, having a
Street
pace
sweeper.
means that, you know, if I miss that, I can't really, when I fall behind already, I can't really catch up that easily. So, you know, I'm assuming
Flask
other
of the
healers
Solemn
probably
Night.
choose one target to dispel and then heal others while
Charging
they're jumping as
station.
well. And then of course it's important to remember for that mechanic that people can't
Suppress.
just jump. You know, it's usually not gonna kill them, but it still hurts. The dot hurts
Charged
quite a bit.
smash.
So it's definitely something
Charging station.
to keep in mind, and also jumping. For some specs, jumping reduces
5,
DPS by quite a bit.
4,
Not for everyone,
3,
you know. I think
2,
like I don't know,
suppress.
some mage specs like melees and stuff, they usually don't get
Charging
hurt
station.
much by it, but still I think it's easier if DPS can just focus on, you know, DPSing and you just must dispel that. So I think if you're, you know, if you're a priest, you should always do that. It's probably one of the main reasons you'll even get invited to this key as a priest, to be completely honest. Amongst a few other things we bring, but that's kind of like the main one in my opinion.
Drifting embers.
Priest's advantage,
Searing
well, not
glare.
advantage, but priest's strength has always been, in my opinion, like the amount of
Ice
utility
storm.
we bring is
Empowered.
Ice
just
storm.
pretty high, and it's just something that
Searing glare.
it's just something that you should learn how to utilize as good as you can. Simply because, I mean, you're not playing your spec to full potential if you don't use your utility. That goes for everyone, not just healers, but I'm speaking about healers here mostly, so I'm focusing on it. Yeah, here just DPSing. Honestly, this whole key is just DPSing, as you will see. It's pretty chill. I think for the most part we played this key pretty safe, even though we did try to +2 it, and we did successfully
Drifting
+2 it.
embers.
I was mostly just doing like these regular pulls, and here you saw me using fear there, but we overlapped. Like I mean, I spoke about this on the previous key a little bit.
Searing
I touched
glare.
on the subject. You know, guys, communication in dungeons is a very powerful tool.
Ice
In
storm.
general, in this game, communication is insanely strong. It's probably the
Searing
best
glare.
spell you can have, honestly. Communication. Best in slot item, best spell, best build. Now, in pugs, most of the
Searing
time, I'm
glare.
assuming most of us don't have a pre-made team. If you have a pre-made team, you know, you're in luck, and you can always coordinate with your you know, teammates, guildies, whoever they are. I used to play with some friends, and we
Bell
were
detonation.
chilling on Discord and stuff back in Season 2, Season 3, Season 1 at times and stuff, so it makes it so much easier when you can just tell people, like, yo, I got this, I'll AoE, I'll interrupt
Fell
this.
detonation.
It's so much easier. But in PUGs, there are usually like rules of thumb, and people, you just kind of rely on people knowing what needs to be interrupted, and then people utilizing their things. You
Fell
know,
detonation.
rogues are pretty meta right now, as they have always been in M+. So usually a good rogue will honestly put a lot of pressure off everybody's back with good interrupts and CCs, but unfortunately some things just cannot be stunned, right? And for those things, you know, you have to coordinate your interrupts and stuff like that. I will say though, if you do have a stun, or as we have a fear, right, you should be focusing on doing that on the mobs that actually cannot be normally interrupted, right? So you're not gonna do that on things that are interruptible. Obviously there are exceptions to that, imps are a good example, but in general you will get more value if you let DPS, you know, stun and interrupt things that are interruptible, and then you fear things that aren't. That's just kind of like pure logic, I think. But I think you guys know what I mean. Just in general, as you can see here, I mean, this key is pretty damn chill. Honestly, not a lot of damage going out for the most part. Even though it's fortified, as you can see, like things are dying pretty quickly, and things are also not dealing a lot of damage. There's one pack that will be a little bit tricky. I'll talk a little bit about it when it happens. I think here we will do a double with Lust or something, if I remember correctly.
Charging station. Ice storm. Ice storm.
But yeah, basically, as you can see, like this is all pretty chill.
Searing glare.
These guys, I mean, you know what these guys
smash.
do. It's just this dog that leaves this puddle. Then you have the big guy.
Charging station. Searing glare.
This searing glaze dude, but honestly, all of them are pretty chill to deal with. One thing you want to be ready for is Eye of the Storm, or Ice Storm, or whatever it's called. It's that witch that casts it. She deals a lot of damage with it. You need to be ready. I think like Rupturing is a great way to deal with that. Honestly, I've died to it way too many times at this point. And I always get embarrassed because I'm always like, what is happening? But basically what you need to do is just keep everybody up. Think of this mob as if you played Shadowlands,
Fell detonation.
like, you know,
Drifting embers.
how in...
Drifting embers.
What do you call it? And yeah, here we lost. This was a very sloppy pool, as you can see, like very out of control
Drifting
pool.
embers.
I was out of pots, out of everything, so I think I tried my best to survive. I didn't press my defensives really because I was trying to keep everybody else alive. I didn't expect I'll die that fast, to be honest.
Ice storm. Fell
I
detonation.
think if I pressed my Desperate Prayer and Fade, I would have been fine, but yeah, I just, honestly, it was a very chaotic pool, so I didn't react, you know, the best, if you want me to be completely honest, but...
Fell detonation. Searing glare.
It was overall okay. I mean, luckily this respawn is pretty quick here. But yeah, as I said, Eye of the Storm, think of it as like... what were those guys called, which... Raging Masks or something. Those angry red dudes
Disintegration
in the,
beam.
oh my god, I forgot all the names. I forgot all the names, guys.
Disintegration beam.
It was that Night Fae dungeon in Ardenweald.
Disintegration beam.
Yikes. It was on the other side. The other side. Raging Masks. I can't remember. The angry red dudes, which we were interrupting with the urns. So it's basically like high amount of AoE damage pulsing around you.
Disintegration
it's fire damage if that helps you. You know, with something. It's I think it's fire damage. Maybe.
Disintegration beam.
Originally it was fire damage. Anyway, it hurts a lot, so just be ready with that. You can like pop either barrier or or rupture. Either way, like there's honestly not much going on in this dungeon other than that, so like you can use your defensives for that. Or if you want to maximize DPS, you can maybe use it on enforcers and then let people take the dot. If you want to do that for whatever reason. I personally don't think it's that optimal. Maybe do it like once or twice.
Fell Blaze Puddle. Shockwave.
Okay, you can do it. Why the hell not? As I said, there's not really much you need your defensives here for. As you can see, like I think I used like 3 ruptures this entire dungeon. Which, to be fair, is on me. If I was a little bit better, a little bit more proactive with ruptures, maybe I could have, you know, saved a couple of these deaths. ultimately, you know, I was trying to focus on my damage, to be honest. I was being a little bit of a DPS 4.
Shockwave.
But I do want to say, like, obviously as a healer, your job is to keep people alive.
Ice Storm.
You know, not if somebody's sitting in
Ice
fire
Storm.
or something, but
Shockwave.
I mean, even
Searing
then you
glare.
should try, right? But what I mean by that is, like, you shouldn't be thinking like, oh my god, I'm doing damage. And I don't want to press my defensives. Like, of course,
glare.
keeping your DPS alive is always a bigger group for bigger DPS increase for group, more than you casting like a few extra
5,
smites or
4,
mind blasts or something,
3.
right? Like, that's just how it is. It sucks that it is that way, but that's how it is. So even if people make mistakes and stuff, don't be like stubborn and ego edgy and like, I'm not healing, I'm DPSing. Nah, dude, just kill people. I don't know, it's like one of those bigger things you can learn as you push keys. It's that, you know, things are never gonna work out perfectly, and as a healer, the best thing you can do is just be ready to help your team and, you know, not have like
Withering
ego
Soul.
and be like, oh, this guy
Infernal
isn't doing
Eruption.
what I want him to do, so I'm not gonna heal him. It's, nah, don't be that guy. Just do your job to the best of your abilities. If you want to time a key and then move on, you know, if you're not happy with how the group is playing.
Withering Soul.
Just sharing my opinion on this. Obviously, you know, if you guys disagree, let me know in the comments how you handle these situations. But my point was, if I used Ruptures a little bit better, there was I could potentially prevent a few deaths here or there, but I was kind of trusting my teammates that they will do properly.
Withering Soul.
Including myself. I'm not saying like I'm exempt from this. I honestly, this dungeon so far in the season, it's just been like a face roll for me. So I honestly, there is still so much to learn about this dungeon, and I would love to do like a more detailed video about it.
Withering Soul. Infernal Eruption.
You know, there's a lot of RNG in this dungeon as well. Like what's available? Will you get orb? Will you not get orb? Will you get you know, how many things to click? You know, based off of profession and classes and stuff. So there's definitely a lot of things to you know, learn. But overall, I am pretty satisfied with how I've played this key. It was good enough for +2, but as I said, it's mostly also because the group was good. Here, I intentionally pick the first one. I mean, if I get it right, awesome. If I don't, we get a fast RP. So the way to trigger fast RP, by the way, if somebody doesn't know, I will explain how it works. So before the final boss, there's that like talking part where the two NPCs are role playing, right? And if you want it to be faster, what you need to do as a group is you need to either get one spy wrong, which means you need to have this like debuff here. Not have it, but like you need to get it once, and that will give you a faster RP. Or the option number 2 is on the first boss, you know, there's 3 of those pillars that you can destroy. Well, if you leave one or more than one, you will get faster RP. So if you want to get like faster RP, either get one wrong or make sure you leave one pillar up.
Shadow Bolt.
Yeah, this guy actually hurts, by the way, so be careful here. As you can see, like these shadow bolts are hitting like a truck. Like this is no joke. This guy, I had to actually kind of like go into somewhat healing mode here. You know, using my radiances and stuff, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. As you can see, like Shadow Bolt Volley, if you cast it, you just cast Radiance, and then you go into like Penance, pop a Mindbender, Schism, Purge the Wicked. I should have Purged the Wicked there because the dot ran out. I spoke about this in the previous video as well. Purge the Wicked has gotten buffed. It's a pretty strong spell, especially now when you're casting Mind Blast or Shadow Word Death. You're actually consuming the duration of it to deal that damage instantly. So that means your Purge the Wickeds will get consumed quite often, and I encourage you guys to use it as much as you can, especially as part of your like holy part of rotation. So because we want to trigger Twilight Equilibrium all the time, right? We want to be casting Holy, then Shadow, Holy, then Shadow. You can never run out of holy spells, which is great, so, you know, just pay attention to your, pay a lot of attention to your shadow spells, and as a holy you can use either Purge the Wicked or Smite, and I recommend like maybe one Penance and one Divine Star, but at some point you will need Shadow Covenant to make a filler for your dark spells, because you'll have like a Mind Blast, Shadow Word Death, Mind Blast, Schism, another Mind Blast, and that's it. Like you run out of dark spells. So after that, you know, you might
Enveloping Winds.
use the Shadow
Piercing
Word
Gale.
Covenant to get your Penance to be dark and to get your Divine Star to be dark. Just use it when you will not, when you're out
Enveloping
of
Winds.
Mind
Blade
Blasts,
Surge.
because Shadow Covenant doesn't last very long. It always
Slicing
tricks me, like I
Maelstrom.
always, you know, start doing some fillers and
Empower.
stuff, and I run out of like time to cast my Shadow
Enveloping
Covenant, and I
Winds.
get angry.
Blade Surge.
It's fine, not angry, but you know, I'm like, oh man, I clicked my button for nothing.
Piercing Gale.
And you do want to get some value out of it because it costs a lot of mana, so like,
Enveloping
unless
Winds.
you're getting something out of it, probably better to not press it
Blade Surge.
if you don't have a plan for it. But yeah, here I was doing some baits. That's just standard stuff.
Slicing
I mean, me and
Maelstrom.
Hunter, I think we're doing baits. And then these AoEs, you know, be prepared. I'm
Enveloping
not
Winds.
using any big
Blade
defensives here.
Surge.
By big defensives, I mean Rupture and the Power Word Barrier. Simply because I
Piercing
know that the
Gale.
first two are less dangerous, and now I will be starting to
Enveloping
use, like
Winds.
I use my personals and, you know, trusted people to pop theirs.
Blade Surge.
And now I will be using
Slicing
now I will start
Maelstrom.
using defensives, unless I see like this. See where this guy casts darkness. It's very
Enveloping
good.
Winds. Blade
However, I
Surge.
already pressed Rupture, so it was a little bit too late, but that's okay. He probably didn't know. Even if he
Piercing
knew,
Gale.
I mean, it's better to use it because the boss was like almost already
Enveloping
dead.
Winds.
As you can see, like I'm still baiting. I'm trying to, you know, make this easier
Blade
on my game.
Surge.
I'm baiting for him to like leave his things outside.
Slicing
and then
Maelstrom.
a little bit early Power Word Barrier. Actually, that was kind of like. I didn't expect boss to instantly cast it after
Enveloping
the
Winds.
charge, so I
Blade
kind of
Surge.
got baited. That was really weird. That barrier did not have any good value, but I still managed to get it. Yeah, as you can see, guys, pretty simple key, pretty cool. Quarter stars, very chill. This kind of doing good here.
You
can see my damage breakdown here.
Thank
Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.